You've spent your entire adult life being productive. You've been needed. You've been relied on. You've had deadlines, meetings, expectations, responsibilities. And if you're honest, you like that. Not every part of it, but the structure, the identity, the feeling that what you did mattered. Then one day you retire, and no one prepares you for what happens next, because retirement planning is almost always about money. How much you saved, how to invest it, how to withdraw it, how to reduce your taxes. But almost no one talks about the psychological shift. And for high achievers, that shift can be more stabilizing than the financial one. So let's talk about it. Because if you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement or recently stepped into it, this may matter more than you think. When you're working, your identity is clear. You have a title. You have influence. You have metrics. You have feedback loops. Your days are structured. Your value is visible. Your effort produces results, and then retirement removes all of that. Overnight, no performance reviews, no inbox pressure, no calendar blocks, no one waiting on you. And at first, that feels like freedom. And it is. But after a few months, something subtle happens. You realize you haven't been needed today, you haven't been measured, you haven't been challenged, and you haven't had to solve anything complex. And for many high achievers, that creates an unexpected tension. Because achievement wasn't just about money. It was about contributions, about relevance, about competence. And retirement doesn't remove your competence, but it removes the environment that required it. This is the part no one talks about. I've seen it repeatedly. People who are financially ready are emotionally unprepared. They think the hard part was saving, but the harder part becomes redefining purpose. I've noticed the most successful someone has been, the harder the psychological adjustment tends to be. Because when you've built your life around performance, silence feels uncomfortable. When you've been rewarded for output, unstructured time can feel disorienting. When your identity has been tied to achievement, you can quietly ask yourself, who am I now? And most people don't say that out loud. They just feel restless. They start over monitoring their portfolio. They check markets constantly. They look for something to optimize because optimization feels familiar. Control feels familiar. But retirement isn't a performance cycle. It's a lifestyle design. And lifestyle design requires intention. Let's talk about couples for a moment, because retirement changes dynamics. For 30 or 40 years, you had separation, different schedules, different colleagues, different stressors, different routines. Then suddenly, you're together a lot. And if you haven't talked about expectations, that adjustment can create friction. I've seen situations where one spouse embraces relaxation, the other feels unmoored without structure. Money isn't the issue, adjustment was. This is why retirement planning cannot stop at spreadsheets. It must include lifestyle mapping. If you retire tomorrow, what would your week actually look like? Not vacation mode, just look at the normal mode. Monday through Friday, what fills the hours? What stimulates you? What gives you feedback? What makes you feel useful? Because leisure without purpose becomes emptiness. And purpose without income structure becomes stress. Retirement done well integrates both. One of the biggest myths is if I just hit the number, everything works. But the number doesn't create meaning, it creates options. And options require direction. High achievers often underestimate how much they've relied on external structure. You didn't need to ask, what should I do today? It was defined. Now you do. And that's not weakness. That's transition. The healthiest retirement I've seen belong to the people who replace structure intentionally. They design their weeks. They commit to meaningful involvement. Maybe they mentor, consult, volunteer, build. They'll teach, invest time in relationships. They don't drift. They choose. There's a big difference between stopping work and stopping contribution. One removes income, the other removes vitality. If you don't need to remove the second to accomplish the first, sometimes the best retirement isn't full stop. It's reduced schedule, advisory roles, project-based involvement, flexibility without disappearance. You don't have to go from 60 to 0 overnight. And for many high achievers, that's a healthier transition. So let's talk about control. When you're working, you influence outcomes. You lead teams. You solve problems. In retirement, markets fluctuate, healthcare changes. The world moves unpredictably, and your ability to influence external systems declines. That loss of control can create overcompensation. Overmanaging portfolios, overreacting to news, micromanaging spending because control feels stabilizing. But true retirement confidence comes from structure, not constant adjustment. That's why your financial plan must be durable, because psychological calm requires financial predictability. If income isn't engineered properly, if tax strategy is coordinated, if stress tests have been run, then you don't need daily intervention. You need trust in the structure. That frees mental space and allows reinvention. Now let's talk about something deeper. Achievement creates momentum. When you've spent decades accelerating, slowing down can feel like regression. But it's not regression, it's redirection. The question becomes, where do you want your energy now? Because energy doesn't disappear, it reassigns. And if you don't choose where it goes, it often defaults to anxiety. Retirement isn't about withdrawing from life, it's about reallocating effort. The most fulfilled retirees I've seen approach retirement like a new enterprise. Existentially, they ask, what matters most now? Now, who do I want to impact? What relationships need attention? What interests have been postponed? What kind of grandfather, grandmother, mentor, friend do I want to be? That level of intentionality transforms retirement from absence into design. Let's address the fear. High achievers don't usually fear poverty. They fear irrelevance. They fear decline. They fear becoming dependent. They fear cognitive loss. They fear loss of dignity. Money planning supports those fears indirectly, but emotional preparation addresses them directly. That's why conversations matter between spouses, with advisors, with yourself. If you've built a life defined by growth, retirement is not the end of growth. It's the evolution of it. Your portfolio becoming your paycheck changes your relationship with risk. But your identity doesn't have to shrink. You're more than your title, more than your business card, more than your quarterly performance. Retirement gives you autonomy over time. But autonomy without intention feels empty. So the goal isn't, can you retire? It's, how will you retire? What will you build on next? What will you contribute? What will define this chapter? Because this chapter could be 25 or 30 years. That's not a wind down. That's a second career in living. It's your approaching retirement or already there. And if you feel this restlessness, that doesn't mean something is wrong. It means something needs designing. Financial durability supports psychological freedom, but purpose completes it. So here's what I would encourage you to do. Before you retire, design your week. Have the conversation, map the lifestyle, define contribution, clarify expectations with your spouse, and then engineer the financial side to support it. Not the other way around. Because retirement isn't an escape, it's a reallocation. And high achievers don't drift well, they design well. If you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement, or just into it now, and you want both financial durability and psychological readiness, schedule some time below, and we'll help you with that clarity. We'll evaluate the financial structure, but we'll also talk about lifestyle design, because confidence isn't just about numbers, it's about alignment. And retirement done well isn't the end of achievement, it's the beginning of attention.